Winter soldiers, according to Thomas Paine, are those Americans who stand up for the soul of their nation in its darkest times. And we're carrying on a legacy of hundreds of years of veterans and soldiers speaking out and resisting against policies that are unjust and that damage the military and damage humanity.
These events happen in our name, and each and every single one of you are responsible for this as well. I am very sorry for my actions, and I can't take back what I did. I ask the forgiveness of the people of Iraq and of my country, and I will not enable this any further. General Petraeus, you may not remember me, but you once led me. You're no longer a leader of men. You've exploited your troops for your own gain and have become just another cheerleader for this occupation policy that is destroying America.
Here I am in the desert again, a compass and a weapon, a lost American. I started out with a simple plan and a locket in my hand.
There are a lot of factors that are causing the breakdown in the military. I want you to know that I'm very proud of the men and women that I personally served with. They were an outstanding group of men and women. However, I look back in the past 6 years as someone who did enlist after September 11th, and I look back and I wonder, what did I do? I mean, I enlisted to be part of the solution, not part of the problem, but I feel like I did just the opposite. And I know a lot of people in my unit feel the same way. And I think of what a disgrace and what a tragedy it is that these are men and women who served mostly with the right intentions, and they were mistreated, and their patriotism and their willingness to serve was exploited and taken advantage of. I believe if you truly want to support the troops, the best way you can do that is to oppose this war, to help bring this war to an end, to help end this war that we never should have been sent to in the first place.
Fall out with the rest of your brothers, with the rest of your sisters, the heroes on the line, and carry out what your leader says forward here.
This is a picture here of me when I was about 10 years old, wearing all camo, having a pair of dog tags, and giving my Boy Scout salute. That boy died in Iraq. This is the proud soldier who enlisted just after Christmas in 2003 to support and defend the Constitution of the United States. That boy is dead. After going to Iraq, I quickly learned that it wasn't at all like I thought it was going to be. The people of Iraq were not grateful for us liberating them. They were angry because we were oppressing them. We gave them curfew and told them that if they came out at night, they'd be arrested, sometimes physically abused. They were often harassed.
On a day in the early summer of 2005, in the area of operation of the 42nd Infantry Division, there was a traffic control point shooting. Traffic control point shootings are rather common in Iraq. They happen on a near or daily basis. What happened was a vehicle was driving very quickly towards a traffic control point. A young machine gunner made the split-second decision that that vehicle was a threat, and in less than a minute, put 200 rounds from his .50 caliber machine gun into that vehicle. That day he killed a mother, a father, and 2 children. The boy was age 4 and the daughter was age 3. Now, I was in the briefing that evening when it was briefed to the general. And after the officer in charge briefed it to the general in a very calm manner, Colonel Rochelle of the 42nd Infantry Division, DISCOM commander, turned in his chair to the entire division-level staff, and he said, and I quote, "If these fucking Hajis learned to drive, this shit wouldn't happen." I looked around every time that word Haji was used, and I thought about that soldier who will carry that with him for the rest of his life, and I thought about the 4 Iraqis whose bloodline was ended on that day. And Colonel Rochelle could not think of any of that, but only his own racism and dehumanization that has started at the commander-in-chief of this war and worked its way down the entire chain of command.
I know this panel is called The Breakdown of the Military, and it's my position that this is not necessarily a bad thing. To me, this phenomenon that we're witnessing is actually a natural evolution, and any time you organize human beings to come together to use violence as a way of conflict resolution, you will have a breakdown of that organization.
I can speak for myself. Those two gentlemen spoke for themselves. I would like nothing better than to testify under oath before Congress.
Carry out what your leader says, for what his leader says is that his leader says this is right for the people.
I'll never forget the things that happened over there. I think about them every day. And I hope wholeheartedly that the American people can understand the impact this occupation is having on the United States military. And I hope that people really wish to educate themselves about the true nature of combat in Iraq and the effect it has on our military, because it's, it's tearing us apart. And I'd just like to say, to those who would judge me for coming up here and sharing my experiences with the American people, do so, because I've made my peace with what I have to do for this country over many sleepless nights. Thank you.
One of the most important things about our U.S. military is you're a citizen soldier. You still obtain your rights as a citizen, and you're able to use those rights, and you should, since you're the ones sacrificing basically to protect those rights. So it'll be a shame if the actual use of your First Amendment right becomes unpatriotic.
This incident does not reflect negligence on the part of the soldiers directly involved, but it does illustrate the carelessness with which the U.S. military handles civilian casualties on the battlefield. We fired automatic weapons into the middle of a wedding party, wounding and killing several guests, and our only reaction afterwards was to drive away and forget about it. And that's the thing. It's so difficult to get up here and talk about these things for obvious reasons, but what's also difficult is that, like right after this happened, we never talked about it again. We drove away and we went back. We didn't even tell the other guys back at the post about this. This was just something that we just shuffled it back in our minds.
I've been kind of somewhat reviewing all the changes that are happening to military intelligence and FISA law. All of this is no longer just a matter of a verbal waiver, it's all legal. Our government is using these occupations to destroy our constitutional rights as Americans. I could kind of go through some of the different instances that happened where I feel that information was collected, which we could have very well known it was misinformation. We passed it on anyway. But I think more importantly, I want to just speak to the fact that it is not only our soldiers, Marines, National Guard reservists, airmen and women fighting in Iraq and Afghanistan that are supporting these wars. It is every single member of the military, whether or not you are stateside, whether or not you are abroad, whether or not you are intercepting transmissions in country. By serving in the military, we are all supporting the occupations. And I just think that's really incredibly important for us all to recognize, because people always want to look and put so much on the shoulders of our veterans who have witnessed so much in Iraq and Afghanistan and act as if they are the only ones that have to bear the burden of ending these occupations. But I, for one, having served many years before 9/11 and before Afghanistan and before Iraq, am so sorry that through my service I in any way, shape, or form supported the initiation of wars which put you all in such horrible, horrible, horrible positions.
No one will ever understand why thousands of beautiful, healthy young statues must fall. Smoke and explosions surround me. A flood of hate, it drowns me. I cannot live.